Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television. Eye on Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all the transpired in the show tonight, make a date and get a copy of the Thursday edition of a BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here tonight. We are streaming live on our social media pages, and on Facebook we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. And still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema, and on YouTube we are live at Eye on Port. Eye on Port. We shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559019177. 0559019177. And when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall be activating the phone line for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, you're welcome back. We are now going to take a look at some local port and shipping news that took place in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the Takoradi port received the biggest bulk ship since 1928, when the port opened. The Chief Justice has also urged judges to deal expeditiously with maritime cases, plus the fact that the Ghana Dock Labor Company also has trained some 97 staff on mobile crane operations in the port of Tema. And IMaH has also become an NHIS accredited institution. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
The Chief Justice of Ghana, a leadership Gertrude Tokonu, has called on judges to deal expeditiously with maritime cases that come before them. Speaking at the 14th Maritime Law Seminar for Judges of the Superior Courts of Ghana, she said any delays in adjudicating maritime cases could have negative repercussions on the economy.
I am particularly delighted to note that even with a fraction of time, the quality of organization to support this noble quest has remained excellent. This year's seminar, as always, is aimed at equipping judges to deal with the challenges of interpreting and applying maritime laws for the expeditious, may I humbly repeat, expeditious settlement of shipping-related disputes, because there's a lot of money locked in shipping-related disputes, and when they stay long in the courts, it causes a lot of problems. So I pray you to bear this in mind today.
She said to efficiently address the challenges of Ghana's blue economy and thereby profit fully from it, the country must watchfully enforce the legal, regulatory, and institutional framework that govern the several sectors it spans.
The worldwide ocean economy is valued at about $1.5 trillion per year. $1 trillion. 90% of global trade is via the sea. 350 million jobs worldwide are linked to fisheries. By 2025, it is estimated that 34% of crude oil production will come from offshore fields. Aquaculture is the fastest growing food sector and provides about 50% of fish for human consumption. We as a country must watchfully enforce the legal, regulatory, and institutional framework that govern the several sectors that it spans. The exciting concept of well-defining the contours of the blue economy provides the impetus for moving towards a better integrated legal, regulatory, and institutional framework that supports it.
The 14th Maritime Seminar for Judges, which is organized by the Ghana Shippers Authority in collaboration with the Judicial Training Institute, is aimed at equipping judges to deal with the challenges of interpreting and applying maritime laws for the expeditious and equitable settlement of shipping-related disputes. A Deputy Minister of Transport, Obeng Adom, indicated that government has over the years embarked on an aggressive program to expand the country's two main seaports of Tema and Takoradi to consciously take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
His Excellency, the President's vision for the maritime sector is to position the country's seaport as the leading container hub and the beacon of international trade within West Africa. To achieve this vision, we have over the years embarked on an aggressive program to expand the country's two main ports, which is the Tema and Takoradi ports. This agenda is continuously being pursued to also take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA), which aims to boost intra-African trade and promote industrialization.
The Chief Executive of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benedita Bismarck, touched on the importance of the seminar.
Shipping is dynamic. Maritime law is dynamic. New things are coming, the new development. We talked about the issues on our transit corridor. We talked about piracy. And the Chief Justice talked about the blue economy. So these things, together with green shipping, are things that we all need to talk about. We can't just sit and think that things remain static. No, they're dynamic. So as they develop, what do we have to bring to the table for our justices? Because at the end of the day, it's business. And if there are disputes, the conflicts must be resolved. If it goes to court, the judge must be seized with information to be able to give the needed judgment, because justice delayed is justice denied.
The topics for this year's seminar include security in the maritime domain and Ghana's criminal law regime, the legal regime of the arrest of ships in Ghana, and international carriage of goods by sea law in Ghana. The judges were taken on tour the port of Tema and the MPS Terminal 3 to witness the operations that go on there. The massive expansion drive carried out by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority at its port of Takoradi continues to yield positive results as the port recorded its first ever call of a Cape-sized bulk ship with length overall of 240 meters and an expected departure draft of 14.71 meters at its 16 Chat Datum dry bulk terminal over the weekend. The vessel MV Baby Hercules, a bauxite carrier, is the biggest ever to call the port of Takoradi since its construction in 1928. With the aid of the newly installed conveyor system and automated ship loaders with 2,500 metric tons loading capacity, MV Baby Hercules is set to load a record tonnage of 106,530 metric tons of bauxite in just 5 days, barring any inclement weather at the port of Takoradi. Prior to the installation of the automated conveyor system and ship loaders at the dry bulk terminal, the vessel, which is sailing under the flag of Panama, would have taken between 12 to 15 days to complete the loading of 106,530 tons, 7 to 10 days more than it will currently spend at the port. Captain Emmanuel Insaido is the chief pilot at Takoradi Port, who piloted the vessel from the anchorage to berth.
For the Cape-sized vessels, they are one of the largest container ships you can ever have, and they range from 230 meters to 270 meters. But this one we have here, this is 240 meters, and then it has a dead weight of 110 tons. Means it's quite heavy, and they can load so much. And as we have them, they have like they're going to stay not less than 3 or 4 days, telling us the volumes that they'll be loading from this port. When it comes to these types of ships, they are not like the usual ships. Their handling is quite delicate, and we need a very good equipment to get them safely berthed in the port.
The Ghana Dock Labour Company, a casual labour organization that manages the dock workers in the port of Tema and Takoradi, has trained 97 of its staff across Takoradi and Tema on mobile crane operation. The 2 weeks training was meant to equip and also certify the staff as professional crane operators. The 97 staff comprised 86 males and 11 females. The managing director of JDLC, Elisha Debra Odum, said the training is to ensure efficiency and reduction of accidents at the port. He said they are targeting to train the entire dock workers.
The larger goal is to make sure that every docker or every worker with Ghana Dock Labour is certified in the area of operation. So to get ISO certified for even the drivers, the tow drivers, to get ISO certified, and even the dockers who do the unloading and offloading, get whatever certification that is necessary for them to work in the maritime industry.
The Fire and Safety Manager at the Port of Tema, Edward Heyman, advised the trainees to take safety measures at the port seriously.
At the end of the day, we want to see the port progressing. We want to see the port turnover rate increasing. We want to see the port accident rate minimizing. No accidents in the port. That's what we are expecting to see. And it depends upon you and myself to do it. Follow the procedures given to you and do it as expected. And at the end, I think we are going to have good environment.
The Terminal 1 manager, Gifty Jordan, entreated the trainees to exhibit professionalism and put what they have learnt into good use.
When some people get educated, something enters into them. That is pride. They think they've reached a certain level. So now when they call them, if you are start today, or church the woman, oh me, oh monko. It's a platform for you to be blessed. It's a platform for a door to be opened for you. So please, if your management have seen this and given you this platform, please don't downplay it. but work hard so that you go forward in future.
The stevedore manager, George Coney, at the port of Tema also advised the trainees to exude confidence in the field of work.
In your new role as crane operators, confidence should be your key. Confidence should be your key. Believe in yourself. The role of crane operator is evolving. Last week we had a vessel, and some of you can attest to it. They have evolved. The operation on the machine has changed. So as new graduates, you don't just end there, but you learn more things and new things so that you stay afloat.
Some of the trainees commended management and spoke about their experience and encouraged other port workers to avail themselves for such opportunities.
I've learned a lot in addition to what I knew by then, because we have some technical words that we were being taught over there. Even here, we use some science during working. The blind side of the operator, we use some science. But when we went there, we also learned so many things in addition.
It's not easy for a lady to be a crane operator, but we thank management for giving me this great opportunity to take part in this exercise.
The International Maritime Hospital has been enrolled onto the National Health Insurance Scheme to continue in the provision of healthcare service delivery to the public. At a ceremony to present a credentialing certificate to the hospital, the Chief Executive Officer of the NHIS, Dr. Okoboy, disclosed that the current membership of the scheme stands at 17.2 million active members. The authority, according to him, pays 200 million Ghana cedis monthly claims from healthcare providers across the country. He said the addition of IMaH to the NHIS family will not only help Ghana attain universal health coverage, but also bring some positive gains to the world-class facility.
20 years on, the current NHIS membership stands at 70.2 million active members, representing about 55% of Ghana's population. We are striving hard to cover at least 80% of the population of Ghana to attain universal health coverage, which by definition refers to 80% access to healthcare without financing being a barrier at the point of requiring the healthcare. If there is any partnership between IMaH and NHIS, then people would really experience all the wonderful things that you have here. And that is why this morning I'm glad that finally the marriage ceremony is happening this morning.
The Chief Executive Officer of the International Maritime Hospital said the hospital intends to bring world-class healthcare services to the doorstep of Ghanaians. He lauded the partnership between IMaH and the NHIS, which he said will bring improved healthcare to clients.
Today is another standard, another level. Having partnered with National Insurance Agency Authority is a great achievement. We want every citizen of this country to have IMaH care, to have international care, to have a care that if it is in Ghana, you find it at Maritime Hospital. Even if it's not in Ghana, we can guarantee you, we'll get it for you.
The board chairman of IMaH, Professor Gladys Amponsa, promised to collaborate with the National Health Insurance Authority and also comply with the rules and regulations of the NHIS for professional healthcare delivery.
These are formative years, or formative months rather. We want your feedback so that IMaH can do better and better and better. And I'm hoping that IMaH will be one of your star hospitals in terms of, complying with rules and regulations and doing the things that will make you happy.
The representative of the Director General of GPHA, Dr. Alexander Dusay, said the partnership is in line with the corporate social responsibility of GPHA.
GPHA, we are happy to be here to witness this occasion. For us to make or contribute to the economic development of Ghana, we built this facility not only to serve our workers, as the CEO mentioned, but to serve our community and also as part of our corporate social responsibility. So for us to add NHIS as part or partners to this development, I'm happy.
All right, so you're welcome back. Those were some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. We're now going for the word of the day. We have some international news, but we're shelving that for now. And in the course of the program, if time permits, we shall, bring you those stories. But the word or phrase of the day, remember, has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the jargons and terminologies we use in the shipping industry. And today's word is ship chandler. Ship chandler.
Ship chandler refers to an individual or company selling equipment and supplies for ships.
All right, so welcome back. We are zooming into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight we're taking a look at the impact of the directive by the Food and Drugs Authority that if you don't register certain products with them, you cannot import into the country on international trade. Just last week, we woke up to this particular directive from the FDA. I have it here. I'll just go through it briefly. It says, no registration, no importation. Now, with immediate effect, only registered FDA-regulated products shall be imported into the country in accordance with Part 7, Sections 97, 118, and 124 of the Public Health Act, Act 851 of 2012, unless given special approval by the authority. Note, importers should take steps to re-export all unregistered imported FDA-regulated products. I'll take it again. It says, with immediate effect, only registered FDA-regulated products shall be imported into the country in accordance with Part 7, Sections 97, 118, and 124 of the Public Health Act, Act 851 of 2012, unless given special approval by the FDA. Note, importers should take steps to re-export all unregistered imported FDA-regulated products. And this one is by the FDA. And so we are trying to examine the impact of this particular directive by the FDA. And when the directive came up, we are aware that some stakeholders got worried, they got jittery, and they had to dash to the FDA to hold consultations with them to actually appreciate and understand or assimilate what this whole policy is about. And so we deemed it necessary to discuss this particular topic tonight, and it gives me pleasure to introduce to us our guest tonight. We have on the line, he'll be speaking to us via Zoom, Mr. Joseph Yao Benny. He's the Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at the Food and Drugs Authority. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us. Hello, Mr. Benny, if you can hear me, good evening, and thanks for joining us. Hello? Well, Mr. Benny, if you can hear me, can you unmute your microphone, please? And I say a very good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Great. Good to have you. Thank you very much. We are happy to have you. And also in the studios with us, ladies and viewers, is Mr. Paul Kobna Mensa, the first Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF. He's also the Logistics and Transport Sector Head of GIF, as first Vice President.
Of Commerce.
Yes, and he's also with the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Great. We are happy to have you, Mr. P.K. Mensa.
Thank you very much.
So let me start with Mr. Benny and find out from you if you can give us some brief background about this directive and that the FDA has issued and what you seek to achieve with it.
Good evening to our listeners, viewers as well. This directive, in your intro, you said this directive came last week. Of course, I think it's just a reminder of what FDA did years back. 2021, February 2021, this directive was supposed to have taken effect. On the 13th of January 2021, FDA had a meeting with stakeholders, including importers. And we explained to the importers that this is an attempt to ensure that the law, as you rightly quoted, sections 97, 118, 124 of Act 851, is fully implemented. The reason is this: we have products being imported into this country that have not been registered. as against what the law really says. It says the law says any product, any regulated products, food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, and household chemical substances, and other products that are regulated by the FDA should be registered before they are imported into the country. So on the 13th of January, as I indicated earlier, we met with stakeholders, including importers, and explained to them that this is it. And so from the 1st of January, we're going to strictly implement the law. So it is not really new. What we intend to achieve is that, look, the products we regulate are basically meant to ensure health and safety of the people of this country. And so when you talk about the fact that it must be registered, I will, as we go along, I'll explain what really we intend to achieve when you talk about regulation and what regulation achieves in terms of public health and safety. So basically, the law is to ensure that all products registered or imported into this country should have been registered by the FDA. So the directive basically, at the risk of repeating myself, is to ensure that all products that are imported into this country meet this criteria of safety, quality, efficacy with regard basically to drugs before they are imported into the country.
Okay. I know that, yes, I know that when this directive came up, we had some stakeholders visiting the FDA to seek some clarity and some further and better particulars on this particular directive. Did you come up with any stakeholder engagement or consultation before the directive was issued, sir?
Yes, we did. There were a couple of them. And as I indicated, on the 13th of January 2021, one of these engagements took place. And recently, when we attempted to reinforce this, we had another engagement with them, I think last week, in our office. They came, met with the management of FDA. And it was decided that for the 3 weeks following that meeting, products that are on the sea or on the way coming into this country, yes, by way of sea, we'll give them 3 weeks. They have 3 weeks within which to initiate registration of those products to avoid being caught by this. So that 3 weeks, they have 3 weeks during this period to ensure that these products are registered. So that is the basic thing that happened. One of those things that happened at that meeting, that they have this window, 3 weeks, to ensure that these products that are on the sea coming, they take the necessary steps to get them registered before they get in. So FDA staff, FDA systems are available for them right now to ensure that within 3 weeks, before these products get into this country, they are registered, so as not to be caused by the directive.
All right, so you did make mention of the fact that this particular directive has been initiated to ensure that products that are coming into the country meet safety, quality, and efficacy, rules of the FDA. Efficacy, yes. I just want to find out from you, how different is this directive, and how is it going to affect, the products that are coming in, vis-a-vis the status quo, vis-a-vis what happened, previously? Is there any significant difference that we can see? Because I'm sure that the FDA ensures that whatever products are coming into the country, are sacrosanct. They are good for human consumption and human health, and that they are of the best safety, they are of the best quality, and that in terms of efficacy, they are top notch. I just want to find out from you, how come that at this particular point in time, the FDA thought it was, you mentioned 2021, that you started thinking about this. How come that at this juncture you want to do this, and what difference does it make?
Now, let me explain what is happening. The law came into effect as far back as 2012. So the law says that every product that is imported into this country should be registered before it enters into this country. We have a situation where we have products being registered. Unfortunately, some people do not register their products. It gets into the country, it gets into the ports. We clear it with the hope of getting them registered. So they are detained, and we hope to register them. But what is happening is this: products get in, you give them the importer the allowance or the chance to register the product. So the product is detained. Before you could say, Jack, the product is already on the market and the importer has failed to go through the registration process. We don't have a facility to store the products. So the products are supposed to be detained in the importer's warehouse. Before you could say, Jack, the product is already on the market. And these are products that affect the health and safety of the people of this country. We've cautioned, we've sanctioned continuously over the period. Things are not changing. As we go along, I'll give you figures as to how many times we receive unregistered products into this country, with the hope that when they get in, we'll take them through the process to get it registered. You have a product supposed to move out of Accra to a region, detained. You alert the officer in Tema that in the other region that the product is coming into your region, so that you must take the importer through the process of registration. Before you could say, Jack, the product is already on the market. It never even gets to the destination for the FDA officers to have the opportunity to get the product, go through the registration process. These are things that are affecting the health and safety of the people of this country. What happens then is that the FDA must go into the market looking for this product, asking for recalls and things like that, spending excess money to do that. Apart from the money that we are spending, apart from the man hours you put in to get these products off the market, the health and safety of the people are unnecessarily put at risk because nobody has been able to go through the product to ensure that this safety, quality, and efficacy can be guaranteed. This cannot go on forever. You cannot be doing the same thing, expecting different results. And as I indicated, in 2021, we told all the importers that we were starting this from February 1st, 2021. So it is not new. I must say it is really not new. We are saying that now, before you bring the product in, ensure that you obey the law, register it. If you do not register it, you must face the consequences thereof.
All right. So if I get you clearly, I think what you're trying to say is that one of the reasons for the introduction of this particular policy or directive is to kill the non-registration of products by the FDA, by importers, which find their way onto the market, for which reason you have to spend a lot of money to retrieve. But is re-exportation really important? Is that the panacea?
Not just money, but we are talking about the health and safety of the people of this country.
Yes.
We have issues with products unregistered that get into the market. People patronize them at the risk of their health. So it is not just about the money FDA will spend and the man hours FDA will spend chasing this product. But we must also think about the health and safety of the people. I can give you examples of some of these products that have entered the market, and we have to go back getting them. In fact, the health of the people should be paramount, and people who are importing, doing business should also think about this matter. Whilst they ensure that their business thrives, they should also think about the health and safety of the people of this country and just do the right things for all of us to be at peace.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Benny. I'll be coming back to you. Just be online with us. Let me come into the studios, first of all, and find out from Mr. P.K. Mensa. I know when the directive came, you were one of the first persons that, called our attention to this. And I know you were part of the delegation that paid a call at the, Food and Drugs Authority seeking clarity and further and better particulars on this particular directive. You went there twice. First, you met the deputy CEO. Second, you met the CEO herself. Yeah, so I just want to find out from you what transpired when you got there, and tell us the stance of stakeholders, your team, on this particular directive by the FDA.
Thank you very much, Ken, and good evening to your viewers, my colleague freight forwarders, and then people of Ghana. The operations and functions of FDA cannot be underestimated. And we do commend them for the kind of work they are doing to ensure the safety, of our foods and medicines. Because if any unwholesome product finds its way to the market, you and I are at risk because we are going to the same market to purchase them. The reason why we saw the directive to be very harsh was that the directive came with no timeline. There was not even a date on the directive. And we saw it on a platform. And then their officers started enforcing the directive. I know
when did it start? I think last
last 2 weeks Wednesday. We saw it on a WhatsApp platform, and then their officers have started applying the directives.
So what you're trying to say is that the FDA didn't come officially or write to you officially that we are implementing this particular directive from so and so date?
No, please. Not at all. But then when we quickly went to the management of Tema, branch of FDA, they explained that there has been some engagement in 2021. And then some agreements were reached with those who were there. And that's why they are sort of more or less continuing that engagement or coming up with that policy or that directive that they agreed there.
Right.
And so at their level, they cannot handle it. So we moved to the head office to meet the deputy CEO, Dr. Amate.
Yes.
Thank her so much for that warm reception. But then she also took our concerns and said she was going to meet management and get back to us with feedback. The following day, there were no feedback. The officers were still enforcing the directive. So we had to move to the head office to meet the CEO. Now, she explained to us that in 2021, January 13th, there was an engagement with the trading public and the stakeholders. And after that engagement, a decision was reached that February, they're going to implement this directive. No registration, no importation. But in that meeting, a discussion was made, and the conclusion was also reached that because of certain goods finding their way to our ports, which are not registered, and we not having warehouses at the port to keep those goods to sort of stop demurrage charges, rent charges, and other charges, the goods could be cleared on detention with certain undertakings by the agent and the importers. Then the importers will have to then follow through to complete the process. That was the arrangement that was made.
Right.
And I'm sure that is why, of course, 2021 too was time businesses were coming up, waking up from COVID.
Yeah.
And then the economic downturn was picking up gradually. Absolutely. So I'm sure that's why FDA sort of released that pressure for people to get compliant.
Yeah.
And so 2021, February, the directive did not come. If now it is time that the directive should be implemented, there should be another stakeholder engagement.
Absolutely.
Or even bring a notice with some timeline. Or we are giving you 1 month. The meeting that we had in 2021, this was the decision that we took, and we informed you. We've given you this grace period. We are in 2023.
Right.
We are giving you a month. So from this date, this directive is going to take effect. That's what we wanted. But the directive that they sent, there was no date on it, no timeline. And that's why we saw that to be very harsh, because people had imported, the goods were imported, and said they should re-export them. How possible will that be?
So tell us about the re-exportation. How do you view it? Because one would have thought that they could perhaps give some leeway and tell the exporters, the importers, kindly register when the goods get to the port. Or they could set up, because they have an office in Tema. The FDA has an office, a huge one of that, in the port of Tema, and they have a director over there. Maybe he could take charge of this particular issue and say, okay, once your goods have not been registered with us and they have come into the port, we want you to kindly register them before you take them out. So that, I mean, the FDA can do its work. But, so what do you think?
Yes, I think it is in the right direction, because I said our safety is very important. So if they're going to help us consume, well-registered, not substandard goods, and then for ensure the safety of the general public, why not? But then it tells you the challenge that keeping the goods at the port for them to go to registration. The simple situation on the ground is that FDA cannot register this product within a day, within a week, within a month. The month is the fastest period they can use to register the product. And if you should keep the goods at the port to go through the registration process, by the time you come, demurrage and rent alone, plus duties and taxes and terminal charges, you cannot take the goods out of the port. Okay? So if they were to have a very fast system of registration within a day or two, of course, because the importer is also going to buy from the market. Today, you are bringing sugar, another person is bringing rice. If yours is not registered and it's unwholesome, you're going to buy someone's sugar, also unwholesome, and it's going to affect your health. So I think there is a system that we have in place that is not favoring goods staying at the port until they are registered before leaving the port. So if they can have that system to do that quick registration, of course. But we don't have it.
Okay.
And that is why there should be engagement. There should be some timelines. There should be that arrangement that we've had over the years that when you bring the goods, okay, start the registration process, clear on detention, complete the process, okay? And we all understand that when the goods leave the port, the importers do not continue the process to complete.
Absolutely.
And so that is why FDA is having an issue. Because if by the time they are done with the registration and the goods are sold, and if the goods are unwholesome, you are damaging people's life.
Right.
And that is what we want. So I think we need to sit and then really come out with some modalities that's going to favor both the importers and FDA.
Right. Okay, so you serve as intermediaries. You mentioned the fact that the processes of the FDA are not quick enough for people to be able to register their products and all that. You are the intermediaries between the importers and the regulatory agencies such as the Food and Drugs Authority. And I just want to find out from you, whether you think that there are genuine concerns from your clients, that's the importers and the shipping community, with respect to why they are unable to register their product to the FDA.
You see, from the importer's point of view, there are a lot of challenges, okay? And I think one of them has to be the sensitization that I was talking about. Even if you go to the World Trade Organization law on food safety, it states that, I think section 20, it states that there should be public discussions on regulating food safety. Now, you have a meeting in Tema, just a cross-section of importers. What about those in Sunyani, Techiman, Kumasi? They're also important.
Yeah.
Okay, so right from the engagement in Tema, you are coming up with a directive. Someone in Techiman is not aware of this directive because it was not in a meeting. And since 2021, 2023, new importers have joined the trade. Some importers too have also left. So what happens to those who have joined? Okay, so that's why we're saying that we as freight forwarders have taken it upon ourselves that if you call any freight forwarder at the tip of his finger, he can tell you all the requirements that are needed and we even help you to register. We even register people for FDA.
Right.
Because we want to ensure compliance because we are all at risk.
Right.
The goods are not wholesome. So the sensitization is very important.
Okay.
We need to engage them. We need to educate them. When they are aware, compliance becomes so easy because they were with you. They had discussions with you. They see the pros and cons, and it's easy for them. But you see, because they are not well informed, sometimes they think that we have to. Second is the procedure. You have to go to the office, get a form, complete the form, send your certificate analysis.
You can't do that online?
No, you can print online, but when you fail, you have to send it to the office.
Right.
And of course, Tema is doing well in picking some of this. I think the other places are doing well. But what about places where they don't have an office there? You need to travel all the way from wherever you are to the head office and bring the form with your samples to register. So I think the procedure, if it can be electronic, where right at wherever your location, you can just log on, complete the form online, submit with your attachment, and then they go through to come to, okay, now, we've gone through the verification, you are okay, bring samples. Do you get it? Then the person coming with the samples, so when I send the samples, within a day or a week, it will be completed. So I think the procedure should be well, looked at to make it more convenient. Then, as you know, the charges. The charges in port already are high, and people are complaining business at the port is too expensive, goods on the market are so high. Okay? FDA charges you for registering your product, and it's per product, per year, and you have to pay 3 years. And so if you want to register rice, you are going to pay a fee per year for 3 years.
For 3 years.
Now, when the consignment comes, cargo that has been registered, when it comes to the port, you have to pay verification fee. An additional cost to the product which is already registered.
Right.
Anytime that consignment comes to the port, you have to pay verification fee. And it is 0.80% of the CIF value. The cost of the goods, the cost of the freight, and the cost of insurance are charged. All put together, you're charging 0.80% of that cost. In fact, some are even paying as high as 1.50% of the CIF value of verification fee.
Right.
A product which has been registered. You get the point. So it is too high for the importers to bear. Okay. And the other issue has to do with the market dynamics, because when the goods arrive in port, trust me, the trader himself is even confused. How will the cargo meet the market price? Because some consumer has already the price on the market.
Yeah.
And yet, he didn't know how much he's going to pay for duty.
Mm.
When the goods arrive, you got a duty, a big blow.
Yeah.
Shipping line charges is there to cross. GPH charges. And then you have to go and do registration for Food and Drugs Authority. And not only that, you may also have to go to Ghana Standards Authority. If it has to do with EP, you have to go to EPA and register. All of these are having charges to be added on the cost of doing the business at the port.
Mm.
So I think they also look at the charges
Mm.
and also understand the plight of the trader, of the importer, and see how best they can sort of come up a little to share some of these expenses and make them more attractive, so that then compliance will not be difficult.
Mm. Right. So is it your official position that the FDA should tarry a bit and then give you some more time, embark on some sensitization before this particular directive is allowed to take effect, even though it's taking effect already?
No, well, when we met the top management, I think they agreed to give us 3 weeks, even though we went with 3 months. With 3 months is that people have already ordered for goods that are yet to be shipped.
Yes.
And that 3 weeks is just around the corner.
Mm.
And if you should check, I think it's the 22nd of July. And how many days are left?
Right.
So the goods that are being shipped and are not here, how do you even get samples to go with your document to go and register? Yeah. So definitely a lot of time, a little further time is needed.
Right.
So that then, whilst we do more engagement, whilst we do more discussions with the trading public to also get their plight and see how best we can fit. By the time it is short. So we plead with the CEO and his team and her team to at least come up with some sort of additional time to help the process.
Awesome. All right, so let me come to Mr. Benny. Sir, if you can hear me, it does appear that this particular directive is targeted at those in the ports. What about those in the borders and points of entry? Are they covered in this directive?
No, it doesn't. It's not only the ports. It's every product that enters into this country. It must enter into this country through one port or the other, whether it is Tema, Takoradi, Kotoka, any of the land borders. Any product that enters into this country must be registered before it enters into this country. So any product that comes in unregistered must be re-exported or face the consequences as we have indicated. So it is for every point of entry into this country. But let me address some few issues that the gentleman raised. It gave the impression that we met only people in Tema, and then we engage only those in Tema. And he asked a question, what about those in the other regions? We have offices in all the 10 regions, the traditional 10 regions of Ghana. We now have offices in the 11 regions now, and the other regions are covered by the existing regional offices. So we've engaged importers in all regions. It is not only Accra. And we continuously engage importers and people who deal in products. So it is not only the 13th of January engagement that we had. We've had engagement with importers from the time FDA was established, from the time this law came into being. We engage them continuously. So let's not create the impression that it was only a one-off engagement and with only people in Tema, and that new importers coming in have not been. The people come to our office daily and make inquiries. We issue press releases almost every week, telling importers, telling manufacturers that you must register your products before they get into this country. So it is not a one-time engagement. We have been doing this and we will continue to do it. Then he raised the issue about fees. And again, I think just 2020, if I'm not mistaken, our fees were slashed so much. Let me give you a typical example. If we're going for a GMP audit, it used to be $20,000 US. It was slashed down to 7,500. And all registration fees have been reduced drastically. The aim of this reduction was to ensure that everybody registered. The same complaint was at that time that the fees were high. FDA slashed its fees, and you can go back and check. I'm giving you a typical example, from $20,000 to $7,500. And this is not a significant reduction. So in terms of registration, in terms of fees, we cannot complain that much. The fees, the processes are not and cannot be free of charge. Let me also say this. He rightly said at the beginning that it cannot take more than a month to register a product. Then he came back saying that this looking at it for a day or two. Let me take this opportunity to explain to you what registration means. When we talk of registration of a product, this is the process. One, we are providing documentation about the product. Tells you how the product was developed, how the issues about the product, where it is coming from, the manufacturer, the manufacturing process. You have documentation. We call this a dossier. It's a whole lot of documentation that you present. You present samples that are taken to the lab for analysis. We also have to inspect the facilities where the product is manufactured. The reason is this: you want to ensure that the product is coming from a facility that can consistently guarantee that the product meets safety, quality, and efficacy. It is not a day's process. It is not a week's process. And if you check from our website, we have indicated that it takes about 6 months to ensure that products are registered. That is why the law says that products must be registered before they are imported into this country. You must take your time to go through the process to ensure that the product meets quality, safety, and efficacy. So if you bring the products in and then you bring the product to the port and you expect that it should be registered within 1 week, we now have issues with import facilitation. You cannot keep products at the port for more than 48 hours. We started allowing importers to detain the products in their warehouses. And then, like I said from the beginning, you allow the importer to send the product into his warehouse. You go there the next week, the product is not there and it is on the market. Good faith is lost. The people, the health and safety of the people of this country are at risk. Can we continue to do this? Meanwhile, the law says you should register the product before bringing it in. FDA gives you the opportunity to bring the product in, and if you have not registered, and go through the process, and then you just ignore that and put the product onto the market at the risk of the health and safety of the people of this country. Can we continue to do this? Of course not. So what we are saying is that bring the products, and then he spoke about the fact that you bring the products in and you take samples. We will take samples for registration, but the samples are supposed to have come in before you import the products. So you bring the samples in, register the products, and when you are bringing the products in, you do no longer register, bring any samples to the FDA again. Those who have registered their products can tell you that when the products entered into this country, we no longer take samples. The samples are required for registration. So they are supposed to come into this country and go through the registration process before you import the product. Again, about the fees, he spoke about the fact that when the product gets into this country, you have to pay a certain percentage. Yes. That is why the fees for registration were reduced drastically. I mean, drastically. So that when products get into, what importers said was that you pay high to register the product. You may not import it. So the one who pays the same price for registration like you and imports continuously will then therefore be at an advantage. So what did we say? Now, if you are not going to import the product, you pay a small fee to register it. But when you import, then you pay the fees for that. So those who register and do not import will don't have to pay the same amount as the one registering the product and importing in huge quantities. So it was to get a fair level ground for everybody that the fees were reduced. So once the fees have been reduced, you're able to register. You can decide not to import, so you won't pay the additional fees. But when you import, then you pay the additional fees. Let me again say that the registration currently, like I said, you need to download the forms, you can fill it and physically present it. But we are in the process of ensuring that we register online. But what we are saying is that you don't need to go to, if you are in Sunyani, you are in Kumasi, you don't need to come to Accra. When you're in Sunyani, you register your product in Sunyani. When you're in Kumasi, you register your product in Sunyani. You provide your documentation, your samples, your fees in the region in which you operate. You don't need to come to Accra. So we have offices in the regions spread all over the country. So you don't need to come to Tema or Accra when you are in any part of the country before you register your product. So FDA's processes, and in fact, it is not so strenuous. You are importing a product. You need documentation. The manufacturer of the product is supposed to give you that documentation. So you have a business dealing with that manufacturer. It provides you with the documentation. You present that documentation to FDA. You take samples from the manufacturer. You pay the fees. FDA goes through the process. The product is registered. You are giving Ask those who have registered their product. They don't have any challenges importing their products. Once you've done that, when the product gets to the port, you feed the registration number into the system. Your goods are cleared. For how long can we sit and allow a few? And I must confess, it's a few. Because if you go and check our product register on our website, you see the number of goods that have been registered. Can we allow a few to continue take advantage of a system that we are trying to allow them and continuously refuse to register their product and put these same products on the market at the risk of the health and safety of the people of this country? Of course, we cannot continue to do that. So we are saying that those who have taken time to register and are benefiting from the process, can we allow the few to destroy the system for them? No, we should not allow this. From 2021 up to now, 2 years, and we'll continue to do. For how long? Yes, now we've agreed that we'll give a certain extension of about 3 months, 3 weeks, but for how long? After this, we'll have to ensure that people do the right thing.
Right. Let me find out from you. Do you have any pre-registration processes or systems that importers can, register before the goods arrive?
That is what the law said. So that is what you are supposed to do fundamentally. So you must register the product before you even import. So that is the basic. The processes are there. We have said on our website, published on our website, that it takes about 6 months. But I can assure you, if all your documentation, your samples, your fees are ready, it takes less than 6 months to get the product registered. And once it is registered, like he rightly indicated, 3 years before you do renewal. So for the 3 years that you've registered your product, nobody will worry you. You import at your own will anytime you want. And when it comes to the port, it is cleared for you.
Right.
So simple a process. You don't need to chase FDA with your registration. You submit your documentation, you submit your samples, you pay your fees, and the process goes through. Once it is registered, you are given your registration number, and we are good to go. We update you consistently. If you it is food, you are consistently updated that your registration has gotten to this point. If we need additional documentation, we'll ask you. If you need additional information, we'll ask you. Within that period, once you are done, for the next 3 years, you can import at any time at your will. Nobody is chasing you for any other thing. So we want to encourage everybody. Let's look at the ultimate. It's the health and safety of the people of this country. Food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, household chemical substances. We are talking about the health of the people of this country. We need to ensure that before the product gets here, look, I can give you examples. Recently, about last year, if you could remember, there was this baby food that had been withdrawn from the market in the US. Somebody managed to bring this product in on the blind side of FDA. We finally got it on the market in Kumasi. Somebody has brought it through the system. What do they call that system? It will come up. It is people aggregate these products. They collect these products from people outside this country. They put it together and then bring in the products. We've got to find out that this product has gotten into this country and it is in Kumasi, unregistered. Meanwhile, the manufacturer has withdrawn this product from the market. If this product is registered with us, we think it would have gone through this process. And you can imagine a baby for which reason this product was registered is being fed on this particular product, the health of a baby.
Right.
Please, let's try. And it is not about FDA trying to frustrate trade. No.
Right. You are still going to be with us, Mr. Benny. We'll still come back to you. But this is IMPort here on Metropolitan Television. And tonight we're taking a look at the impact of the directive by the FDA that if you don't register your products with them, you cannot import them. And those that have come, they said they should be re-exported. And so we are trying to take a look at what the impact of this particular directive is. And you just heard the Mr. Joseph Yao Benny, who is Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at the Food and Drugs Authority, also will be in the studios. Also with me in the studios, Mr. PK Mensa, who is first Vice President of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, and he's also the Logistics and Transport Sector Head, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We're going for a quick break. When we return, I will take your messages, and we shall also activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. Please do stay with us. Don't go away.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. So I've been told by the production team that the time is right, so we can activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. The number to dial is 020-552-8353. 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Some messages have also come through. Let me take them. This one says, it's unfortunate that Mr. Yabeni is complaining about unscrupulous persons releasing unwholesome products without the express authorization by the regulatory authorities. I believe Ghanaians like myself would like to know how many people they have prosecuted and jailed for doing that. Without exacting punishment on wrongdoers, I am afraid we shall continue to lament over the attitude of these nation wreckers. This one is from Sam, East Legon Hills. Thank you very much indeed, Sam, for this beautiful message. This one says, good evening. Please, Mr. Yabeni talked about efficacy. What about medical devices? What is their capacity in terms of this aspect of their mandate? This one is from Ernest Tobaya, GIF Chair KIA, Kotoka International Airport. He continues, he says, also the fees that have been slashed. Now, importers are even paying more. So, for example, if I have to register a product for 3 years for $3,000, now you import same product 3 times in a year and you pay more than the $3,000 with all the 3 imports put together. Still from Ernest Tobaya. This one says, hi, sir. FDA takes samples for registered goods any type, anytime the products get to the port. You didn't add your name. And this one says, good evening, I am Port. FDA should explain why a product already registered by the consignee A goes through the same registration process when imported by another consignee. Is it the product they are interested in or the money from the importer? This one is from a concerned forwarder. Well, I think we'll elicit some responses from Mr. Benny. I am told that we're trying to get him back. We lost him along the line, so we're trying to raise him again on the line, and then we can put these messages to him and seek some responses from him for those that sent them in. And so remember, the lines are activated. It's right here on your screen, 02055283553. You can call in and then contribute to the discussion. So I just want to find out from you, Mr. P.K. Mensa, what the implication of this particular directive is on the finances of your clients, the importers.
I think the importers have spent so much money to go import these goods and have paid freight at port. And you and I know how much it is, how difficult it is to raise foreign currency from our CD to get these consignments. And so having brought in the goods and you're asking them to re-export them, it's obvious that they may not be able to re-export them.
Right.
But the money they have spent in bringing these goods are locked up. They cannot sell to recoup. And then again, if they don't re-export these goods, they are going to create congestion at the port. They wouldn't pay way for the other consignments that are arriving into our country. But you see, based on some of the reactions coming from the public, you could see that there are certain information that my honorable colleague is not aware of.
You continue. Certain information that your honorable colleague is not aware of. You hold on there. We'll go to Airport City and pick Patrick, who's calling into the show from there. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, boss.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello, I can hear you. Good evening, boss.
Yes, good evening. Please shoot. Please go ahead.
Okay. Greetings to Mr. Paul. Well, concerning the FDA, concerning their registration, we are okay with all that Mr. Bene is saying or that he has been saying. My problem is that why is it that after you have gone through all the process, and maybe FDA has given you the registration number, when maybe as an agent and importer has given you the product that for you to go through the current process, they have given you the registration number for you to input into the system, so that you follow the filing process. You go there and you try to input the registration number, and it tells you not registered or expired. The reason being that it's a new number that has been given to the importer. So unless you go back to FDA to inform them to input the registration number they have given to the importer before they can input into the system. And even that one, it will be back and forth. You have to go to their, maybe I am at the airport. So when you go to the airport, then they have to call Tema that we have these registrations kindly input into the system before maybe you can proceed. And boss, it can even take a day or two. And mind you, we only have 4 days. Else you go on rent. And with this issue, with a day or two, if you don't take care, they say, oh, wait. And by the time you realize, the 4 days the importer is going to pay rent. So imagine you are bringing maybe 1 ton or 2 tons. See the cost. They are causing the importer.
Right.
So my suggestion is that as soon as the person has gone through the process that you have issued the registration number to the person, just input it in the system. So every time the person will, when they bring the product and trying to clear, just pick it up, just like that. But anytime you have to, when you get a new registration number, you have to go to FDA.
Right.
That is my problem.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Patrick. You called us all the way from airport to. We are deeply grateful to you for a call. You can also call, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353. It's right here on your screen. You can call and contribute to the discussion. Yes. You said Mr. Benny was not privy to some information that you have. Yes.
Yes, that we are not saying products are not to be registered. And as I said, we have even registered for some of our clients. So we all agree that goods must be registered because we're all at risk if they are unwholesome. But the issue is maybe the officers on the ground, certain things that are happening that they at the top are not aware. These samples that he mentioned, as many times that consignment enters the port, samples are taken.
Right.
I have a case where sample was taken, and for 2 months, that sample had not reached the main head office to complete the registration. Okay, so that is why more engagement are needed.
Right.
When the trader is aware of these directives or these procedures, he can contest that, no, from what we have or what it means we did, this cannot go on. It's not right. Okay, but I think that they need to come clear to us that whether the registration is focusing on the product or on the consignee as the importer. Because we know certain products that are well known with very high standards from countries of repute, of which I know FDA have even visited their factories and have all the information. So if that same commodity is coming to Ghana, what has already been registered in the system of FDA and on the market by one importer, okay, another importer bringing the same product, which is well known, okay, you having all the parameters, all the information from the manufacturer.
Yes.
Should that importer should also go through the same registration process to register him as an importer and also as the product, because that person is bringing that same product which has already been registered. So when you do this, then it means you're having more people join the queue in the registration.
Right.
So
I understand we have Mr. Benny back online. So when we come, he would proffer some, solutions, some responses to what you just raised. But let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Ben, who is calling us all the way from Cape Coast. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes.
This program is a very nice program. I just want to commend you
Thank you,
for
sir.
educating and informing the maritime fraternity.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank
just
you
want
very
to say kudos to you.
Thank you,
Keep
sir.
on. It's
Thank
a
you
very
very
nice show.
Thank you, sir.
We are
Thank
here
you.
watching.
Great. Thank you very much indeed. We are grateful. We are grateful. Thank you, sir. Right. Okay, so that was some words of commendation from Ben in Cape Coast. He said they are watching the only maritime-related current affairs show in the whole of GH, live here on Metro TV. It's Eye on Port. We are grateful.
Yes. So I think So we need that discussions into this matter.
Right.
That the same consignment being brought by 2 consignees. Okay.
Right.
All the 2 are going to go to the same queue to register on each the same product, but each being registered.
Right.
And then also the consignees also being registered. So if we are 10 from the same manufacturer, the same information, the same nutrient, the same parameters, why should all of us be registered the same? You registered product and also registered the importer. Why not having it one registered? Just pick samples to check, of course, to verify the efficacy or their wholesomeness.
Yes.
But then register the importers that, okay, you are bringing, we know you to bring in this commodity.
Right.
And so any other commodity will register it.
Absolutely.
See, that will then release the pressure of the registration process that they go through so that you can fast track the processes.
Right.
You get it?
Right.
Then, issue of the samples that I said,
yes.
I think he has to check from his desk. And you know that a lot of importers will allude to this fact.
Right.
But the charges, I want him to know that the charges are very high. And that is what is discouraging more importers to register.
Right.
Because if I register the product for a year, I've paid for 3 years. And anytime I bring it to the port, you're going to charge me a percentage of the CIF value.
Yeah.
Some are paying as high as 5,000 Ghana cedis every time the consignment comes to port. So if you do 10 imports in a year, 5,000 by 10.
1,000. All right. So let me. You said in a year, that's 60,000.
Yeah. So every day, every time the consumer comes to port, you are going to, pay the verification fee.
Right.
Based on that.
Okay. Let's elicit some responses from Mr. Benny, who we understand has joined us again. Good evening, sir. Once again, if you have just joined us, I'm sure you have heard the issues raised by Mr. P.K. Mensa. We want to elicit some responses from you. We also have some messages that we'll be reading to you so that you can provide some responses as well.
Okay, thanks. Yes, like you said, the line dropped. Let me start from one of the points you just raised. Registration fee is only once. That is, you pay the registration fee and the product is registered. And I indicated earlier that our fees were reduced in response to this very issue. There are people who indicate that they register and never import. They pay high registration fees. These registration fees have been reduced, and I've given you a classical example. So once you register and you don't import, there's no issue. But once you register and import, you pay a certain percentage. And these percentages, these fees were agreed on with importers. We had to come down to the level where they all agreed before the fees were. And these fees for the information of the public are fees that are approved by Parliament. It's not FDA that sets these fees. Parliament approves these fees for us to use. So these are fees that have been approved by Parliament for us to use. Then he raised the issue of samples. And he says there are things that I may not be aware of. Quite unfortunate. But when it comes to samples, like I indicated, once the product is registered, you don't take samples. When he said, and I want to repeat what he said the samples were taken for registration. For registration, it never got to the.
Yeah, he said the samples were taken, but for 2 months, they were not taken. They hadn't gotten to the head office.
What? And it says this, yes. And it said the samples were for registration. What I said, and I'm repeating, and that is a statement of fact. Once your product is registered, we don't take samples when you import the products. We don't. So I know that for a fact. Unless there is an issue with the product, then we'll take samples. But what he was referring to was samples that were taken and meant for registration. Unfortunately, I don't know. I can't attest to what he's saying because I don't have the full facts of what he's saying. That is the reason why you need to register your products before they get into this country, so that you don't pick products samples at the port. Whoever picked the product, I cannot guarantee who picked the products. I can't tell who picked the samples that he was referring to. That is the reason you don't need to get to the port to register your products. You need to have registered a product, so nobody would have taken those samples that he was referring to for registration. If you can, because I went off, I can't remember, I can't get the issues that you said people raised. But the point is this: I'm saying our fees have been reduced, and he needs to acknowledge, and I'm sure he's aware of that. Fees have been reduced from 2020, very low. We reduced them. Fees that were being charged, like I said, about 20,000 came to $7,500. These are significant reduction in prices. So
right.
I don't see the point.
Okay,
again,
so
when he talks about the fact that somebody registered a product, okay.
Yes.
Can I finish this one? Is there somebody registered a product? Yes. If you go to the area of drugs, we register products for only one person when it comes to, or one facility, one company. So
right.
if you register a product A, nobody else will register that product. If you want to distribute the product in, it is that applicant that has the registration that will bring the product. When you get to the area of food, that is where the challenge is. You have a lot of people bringing in the same products, and most of the time, or some of the times, the products are being manufactured from different facilities. You have the same product coming in from Turkey, you have the same product coming from India, you have the same product, different manufacturers. You may have the same manufacturer producing for 2 or 3 people, and they come with different names. So the same product, somebody has registered as AB, somebody is registering the same product as BC, or somebody is registering the same product from the same manufacturer. For us, they are not the same products. It's the same manufacturer registering the same product. We are bringing the product in as with different names. Of course, we'll register them as different products. Again, you may have the same product coming from the same manufacturer. Why wouldn't these importers in Ghana agree that one person will bring it in and will distribute the product, but they want to bring the products from, the products are coming as different batches with different batch numbers. We need to ensure that these products are really coming from the manufacturer, are really coming from the same manufacturing process, and so we'll register them separately. It is not about the importer, it is about the product. The products are coming in. Are they coming in from the same manufacturing process? Are they coming in at the same batch? We do not know. We'll only be having this information when we have registered this product and we can deal with the importers on that level. So if the importers decide that they want to bring the products independently from the same manufacturer, they must go through the same process.
Right. So
if we agree that one person is bringing it in and it is being distributed by different people,
point well noted.
Different process. So it will be registered as one product.
Point well noted, Mr. Benny. We have barely 2 minutes to wrap up. I just want to find out from you, what happens if the importers that have brought in their products fail to, re-export them? What would you do?
We give them
just in 1 minute.
Alternative. Safe disposal at their own cost.
Say again.
Safe disposal at their own cost.
Safe disposal at their own cost. If they fail to re-export.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. We are deeply grateful. We've enjoyed the conversation with you, Mr. Joseph Benny, Director, Legal and Corporate Affairs of the Food and Drugs Authority, who joined us this evening via Zoom. We are deeply grateful to you, sir, for obliging us here on Iron Port. Our regards to the top management of the FDA, Madam Mimi, Dako, and the rest of the team, including yourself. We are grateful. Let me come to the studios and take your final word. Now you heard him, the last bit. If they fail to re-export, they would have to dispose of them by themselves, at their own cost. Just 30 seconds, and then we're out of here.
All right, thank you. I think it is not in the good interest of the trader and even consumers that goods that have not been tested, to know whether they are wholesome or unwholesome, should be re-exported just because they have not been registered. Goods have not been registered doesn't mean that they are unwholesome.
Right.
So we were thinking that those goods can be kept to go through registration.
Yes.
If they are unsafe, then the importer is brought to take them out.
Absolutely.
Or the discussion can be discussed.
Is this something you pursue from here?
That is why we are calling for engagement.
Yes.
We are calling for engagement. We need more time. We need engagement.
Absolutely.
So all these can come up.
Right.
Then again, we are happy that he's saying FDA wants to go electronic.
Yes.
It is very important.
Very key. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. P.K. Mensa, First Vice President, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders and Logistics and Transport Sector Head, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Remember, earlier on, we also spoke to Mr. Joseph Benny, who also just left us tonight. Remember, we've been examining the impact of the no registration, no import directive from the Ghana Food and Drugs Authority. And that's what we've been examining tonight. We'll then treat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. We also want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and the abridged version will be aired on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television GTV. My name is Kennedy Mona. Wish you a super week ahead, and we entreat you to enjoy the rest of our programs. We are out, and thanks for watching.